All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're building a totally realistic 12-month blueprint for generating consistent affiliate income. We're skipping all that fluff, ignoring the fake dashboards, and focusing purely on the actual data-backed timeline to get you from absolute zero to a rock-solid income stream. Now, you've probably seen those internet gurus all over social media, right? Flashing massive dashboards, claiming they made overnight wealth. They promise you can just make tens of thousands of dollars literally while you sleep, making the whole thing look incredibly easy. But we really need to ask ourselves, is that the real story or just a highly curated highlight reel designed to, sell you a course? Well, the reality is pretty jarring. Actually, 41% of affiliate marketers make less than $1,000 a month. That stark number hits hard, and it highlights exactly why we need to ditch the hype and look at the cold, hard facts. Look, success in this industry is absolutely possible, for sure, but it's never accidental, and it definitely doesn't happen overnight. Okay, so here's our agenda for today's breakdown. First, the affiliate marketing reality. Second, months 1 through 3, building foundations. Third, months 3 to 6, the dreaded desert phase. Fourth, months 6 to 12, gaining traction. And finally, avoiding common beginner mistakes. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the affiliate marketing reality. We're demystifying the hype with real math. Let's be clear up front. At its core, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's just a pure, performance-based business model where you act as the intermediary between a merchant and a consumer. But here's the real secret sauce. Trust, not pushy salesmanship, is your absolute main currency. Think about it. If you recommend a terrible product just to make a quick buck, that reader is never, ever coming back. You're a guide, first and foremost. And honestly, this formula boils your entire business down beautifully. Your profit relies entirely on growing your traffic, improving your conversion rate, or promoting products with a higher commission amount. These are the literal levers you pull to increase your income. If you just double your conversion rate from 1% to 2% by, say, building more trust with your audience, you instantly double your income. And that's without needing a single new visitor. Moving on to Section 2, months 1 to 3, building foundations. This is all about setting up for long-term success. As we kick off our 12-month journey, your initial timeline requires absolute laser focus. In month 1, you've got to select a profitable niche that intersects with what you actually care about. Month 2, you build the platform. So a self-hosted WordPress blog, maybe a YouTube channel. And then in month 3, you publish your very first pieces of helpful content. Keep in mind, during this phase, you aren't earning a daily wage. You are building a digital asset from the ground up. Now, choosing the right niche right out of the gate is critical. Take low-ticket niches like fashion or general consumer goods. They offer tiny 1 to 10% commissions, which means you need massive, massive traffic volume just to survive. On the flip side, high-ticket niches, things like software or finance, can offer 20 to 50% recurring commissions. To put that into perspective, selling just one software subscription could earn you the exact same amount as selling 50 physical books. It's a total game changer. All right, Section 3, months 3 to 6, the desert phase, surviving the absolute hardest part of the journey. So this is where the magic, doesn't happen. It can feel incredibly discouraging when your earnings are just stuck hovering around zero. You're publishing content, right? But your site feels like a complete ghost town because search engines are still putting your brand new site through what we call the Google sandbox. They're basically evaluating if you're trustworthy. And this is exactly why 90% of beginners give up. They do all this hard work, but they quit right before the algorithm actually rewards them. To survive this desert phase, you absolutely must commit to the grind. A fantastic strategy here is churning out versus articles, comparing two specific products head-to-head. These tend to rank way faster, and they capture high-intent buyers. You also need to relentlessly learn and apply SEO to start pulling in organic traffic. And crucially, honestly, I can't stress this enough. Start building an email list from day one. You need to actually own your audience, rather than relying entirely on the wild whims of search algorithms. Which brings us to Section 4, months 6 to 12, gaining traction. This is when the hard work finally starts to compound. Take a look at how your niche directly impacts your timeline to profitability. Look at this software and SaaS category. Thanks to those high commission rates we just talked about, you can hit that $1,000 a month mark in just 2 to 4 months. Travel, on the other hand, that might take 4 to 6 months. But the big takeaway here is that by the end of your first year, if you've been consistent, the compounding effects of your SEO finally kick in, and that depressing $0 dashboard starts ticking upward. And then, as you hit that magical 12-month mark and look toward years 2 and 3, you enter the intermediate phase. This is where it gets really fun. Your data-driven optimizations, like tweaking those headlines, improving your calls to action, sending out strategic emails, they all start compounding into truly life-changing income, typically landing somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000 a month. Okay, final stretch. Section 5, avoiding common beginner mistakes. Let's cover what you really need to watch out for on this journey. It's simple. Rookies fail because they try to force a sale. They spam links everywhere, they promote random, untested products, and it just feels, well, spammy. Professionals, though, they succeed because they build genuine trust. They review products they actually know and use. And if something isn't right for their reader, they honestly just say so. That upfront honesty, that is exactly what converts a casual reader into a lifelong loyal buyer. Plus, you absolutely have to play by the rules of your platforms. This is critical, guys. Failing to clearly disclose your affiliations completely violates FTC rules and shatters audience trust. And technically speaking, getting banned from Amazon because you applied before you had steady traffic, or failing to make your first 3 sales within their 180-day window will get you booted and immediately halt your entire journey. Seriously, just don't apply to strict networks until your traffic is actually flowing. The core philosophy here really hits the nail on the head. Affiliate marketing is not passive income, especially at the start. It is an active, demanding business model. You're putting in heavy, upfront work today, like, say, grinding out a deeply researched article that takes 20 hours to write, all so that it can pay you consistently for the next 5 years. It's leveraged income, not magic. So, as we wrap up this explainer, the ultimate question you have to ask yourself is this: are you actually ready to survive the desert? The math proves that a consistent, life-changing income is absolutely possible within a year. But are you willing to put in 12 months of unglamorous, foundational work to get there? Or will you end up part of the 90% who quit just inches from the finish line?